4 friends.
It was like, oh, what have I done?
1 movie.
I cannot be the only person I know to have seen this.
Every single year, whether we want to or not.
Grimy, gross imagery.
This is Mad Dogs. This is Mad Dogs.
I love how it starts with one movie every year, whether we want to or not. Like we want to.
Yeah. I genuinely thought it was one of your dogs that started barking at the front. That's a high quality WAV file, my man.
Yeah.
I'm honestly really happy that didn't set mine off.
I'm super thrilled with the picture profile because it gave me hair for the first time in 6 years. So thrilled about that.
Your image generation is doing this weird thing where it's starting to combine me, Petrus, and Mahfouz all into one. Like
it is, it is
new human being.
I noticed
there was
that
a couple
as well.
times. There was a couple times I thought it was Mahfouz, and I was like, "Wait, I'm not on this podcast." Oh wait, no, that's supposed to be me.
Yeah, so we'll have to take some promo pics.
No, I'm good with keeping it. It's fine. I don't care. I'm good with it. I just every time I look at it, I laugh, and I can't wait for someone to be like, "I thought Petrus was in this. Isn't he bald?" I guess they're just going to think me and Brad are interchangeable.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we're all just losing hair. Well, I've lost mine.
Mine's out. Rob, you've still got a lot, so you're good.
Yeah,
So, Mad God, so we'll, since this is our inaugural episode, kick us off and tell us what was the inspo behind this episode and why we're wanting to do this every year. What drew you back multiple times to this film, and feel free to give any background because the last time we talked about background was fascinating.
Right. So I watched this by myself. I believe by myself the first time. I think the year it released on Shudder, right? And watching it sticks out as like, in a lot of ways, a pure form of art, but also an absolutely atrocious, disgusting depiction of a cycle of suffering. And in that spirit, it was like I cannot be the only person I know to have seen this. You know what I mean? I don't know if my psyche can handle that.
Okay. So you didn't want to do this journey alone, is what I'm.
That's what it is. Like if I have to live with this inside my brain, other people have to as well.
So I've been slowly dipping my feet for the last 4 or 5 years into horror, getting back into it, really enjoying it. Obviously, I'm part of a podcast on it now, so I'm okay with it. But there's the Mad Dogs. I remember, I think it was you, Will, mentioning, hey, you should look at Phil Tippett's Mad God, and you gave me some background info of like all the movies that did, Star Wars and all the things that he's done, and then you talking about that this being the kind of culmination of his life's work. And now that I know that you just didn't want to be alone, I get it now. Now I understand.
Right? Yeah.
It took me 3 years. It took me 3 years to be like, okay, I'm finally going to watch this. And I remember texting you, and then it was like, oh, what have I done?
Right. Yeah. I remember making this recommendation, and I tried to like anybody I talked to about it. I tried to be like, hey, when you're ready for it, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, you did. Yeah. You put a lot of boilerplate on that was like, hey, you may not be mentally ready for this, and I wasn't, and I knew that, and then I watched it, and then I wasn't either, still, and then a year later, still not, but it's something. It's definitely something.
Yeah, it's a
movie.
Yeah, Brad, this was your first time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of grimy, gross imagery that I think had a very unique story somewhere in there that I think requires me to watch it more than once to understand.
See, and that's okay. That's the thing. Okay,
Yep.
what is it about this? Because I do think that this movie demands a rewatch.
Agreed.
Yeah, I do. I agree because, like, and maybe it was just my brain state at the time, but, like, I'm still sitting here going, what the hell was that movie about?
I think my first watch, I was so fixated on the art itself that, like, the things in the background and the creepy crawlies, and just knowing that this was the guy who did Star Wars and many of the things that I grew up loving, that this was the pinnacle of his work that he did over the course of how many years, Will? Decades, right?
Took him 30 years to make this film.
So
And-
knowing that it took the majority of my life to make this life's work, there was so many things in every single frame to see that
Right.
my first time, I don't know that I ever even picked up on that there was even a linear plot going on.
I can agree to that because the entire time I was watching it, I was trying to watch everything
Yeah.
going on
Yeah.
in the screen and the whole frame and going, how did he
Yeah.
manage this? And then also thinking, like, wow, was this shot created like 30 years ago?
Right.
You know, like, and
Yeah.
then, like, as we progress, it's going to be something he did a few years ago, and it's just impressive.
It is. And I think also what y'all are describing is one of the reasons that it demands to be watched again, because you watch it and there's so much to take in
Yeah.
that, like, you recognize from seeing it that it's a masterpiece,
Yeah.
and there's no dialogue really to provide exposition or anything like that.
Right.
But then it could, like, if it was any other medium of filmmaking, I don't think that it would have the same appeal, because it being claymation. It, like, subconsciously, maybe even, you have to recognize that Phil Tippett handcrafted every single thing that is in this shot. So even if it's too much to take, there's a reason that it's there. And trying to figure out the reason that it's there might be what draws people back into it.
And did you not think, and I had this kind of a depressing thought about this is his life creation that he spent, half his life building.
Right.
And it is never going to come close to the return on investment on what he put into this.
Oh, dude. So on this watch, I actually got Amber to watch some of it with me,
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
and her.
And y'all are still married.
Yes, yeah, happily. And when she came away from it, and she said, "I can tell that this is a masterpiece, but I want no part of it."
Yeah, and I think that is such the right reaction to this.
And then I said, "Baby, then you get it."
Yeah, and Will, I know that in this episode you've got a lot of notes on themes, and I've got a lot of. I did try to pay attention to a lot of themes. I think a lot of colors, a lot of the color palette he used was, for the most part, pretty standard in this. Not a lot of a lot of at least color tones. He went in that direction, but it was still. I think that the abstract, non-linear journey, and even the fact that, like, you're for me, the bouncing ball was the assassin, right?
Yeah.
The assassin's not in every shot. I'm not following the assassin throughout everything.
No.
And when you get to that part with the doctor, where the doctor does the delivery and then starts walking the baby on, and there's almost two different stories. I'm gonna say two different stories. It could be the same fucking story. I don't know. But it's at that moment that for me was the most challenging, is when there seems to be, it's no longer we're following this assassin. Now there is also this thing going on. And while they kind of, I think, end up in the sort of the same area,
Right.
It's still two different directions. There's a lot.
There's a pivotal point, I think, in the film, like you're talking about,
Okay.
where it becomes about more about the cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you've also got this. But then they start going into the assassin's memories, I think.
So-
That's news for me, so I'm interested.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think having seen it the most, maybe, and it's 3 times, maybe 4 times that I've seen it. I think that there are, and the only way that I've been able to rewatch it without, it having too big of an effect on me is attempting to intellectualize
Sure.
the intent of Phil Tippett. But I do think that there are two, because like any kind of art, and knowing, doing some kind of research behind it, you have to look at what the intent of the artist was.
For sure.
But then you also have to kind of separate that from how was it interpreted by the audience.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I will say that I think one of the best things, one of the most helpful things that Phil Tippett does in this is start out the movie with the sort of Star Wars rolling text of Leviticus.
Yeah.
And that helps me to understand at least what maybe some of the intent is. That this is, I'm thinking that in my interpretation that this is a post-apocalyptic world suffering after God has dumped his wrath.
That's right on there. How familiar are y'all with Gnostic Christianity and Gnosticism?
I would say surface level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cursory at best.
Yeah.
I got you. So in trying to learn more about this,
In my head, it's like Christianity, but kind of more metal.
Yeah, right. That's a fantastic way of what I was envisioning in my head, Shug.
Nice.
Yeah. So Mad God the film is, I would say, trying to identify narrative in it is probably an exercise in futility.
Okay. That's great. That's great for next year.
It's interesting you say that. I've got a quote from Phil Tippett that says, "Art should be about nothing and let the observer fill in the meaning."
Right.
God damn it. So, oof.
Yeah. Mad God, to me, structurally, let's talk about it structurally, is more of a collage of suffering in an indifferent system created by in Gnosticism, there are multiple realms, right? Mm-hmm, There's a spiritual realm where this perfect, yet uncaring God resides. Mm-hmm. And there is a physical realm, and in between that is what is called the demiurge, which is a lesser god who is an angry, wrathful, jealous person that created the physical realm to try to imitate the perfect spiritual god, but because they lack the true power of an actual god, the demiurge has essentially created a realm that has led to an endless cycle of suffering for the beings that it tries to put into it.
Okay. So let me give a little background on how I watched this movie because I think I did it right to a degree and unintentionally. Knowing that I was going to watch this, I took an edible of a very small amount because
Right.
I didn't want to forget it, but I wanted to be slightly creative and under the influence. Uh, Never was I gone, but I would say at my peak, Laura, knowing that I was going to do this, suggested that maybe I should watch Fantasia.
Ooh.
That
Okay.
it's non-linear. Each song has its own sort of thing. There's not really like there is a story in some of those, like especially well, several of those have kind of a story, and yet the way that the artists do it don't really necessarily. Some of which are literally just fucking
Interesting.
it's colors, right?
Yeah.
That worked well for me transitioning this into Mad God, where I was like, I am not going to necessarily hold on to like
Any necessary.
he the assassin may be the bouncing ball, but that is only a vessel for where we're going and not necessarily
Right.
for a story that's going on.
Yes.
And that
Yeah, that's
helped.
that's the starting point. Is the assassin? That's a really interesting thought
I love
and way
that.
to do it. Yeah.
Well, hey, good news is, guys, next year.
I will absolutely try that. So there's that going on, like the lens of Gnosticism, but also this is absolutely meta commentary on Phil Tippett and the like gargantuan effort that it took him to get this film made and created.
Right. So, will I'm going to ask for listeners because this was on. You mentioned this on the other podcast. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if we were rolling when we talked about this. But if you could talk a little bit about Phil Tippett, we've already talked about how long it took him. We've already talked about the effort and the toll it took. But could you go into a little bit about like the mental toll that it had on him and the results?
Right. Yeah. It took him 30 years, and it took him 30 years. It's not like it was 30 years of continuous work.
Right.
Right.
There were times when he was working on it. There were times when he was not.
Yeah.
And there were times when he had obsessed about it to the point where he had to be institutionalized.
He he was quoted as calling the experience anti-therapeutic.
Whoa.
Insane.
Right?
Whoa. Whoa.
Insane. It was apparently creating this apparently was such a harrowing experience to Tippett that he during like a press junket or something that he was doing to get ready for the release, he said that he is no longer interested in making art with his hands for the rest of his life.
Okay, so
Whoa.
so knowing that, do you know is that sort of madness that we're talking about here, where he has to be institutionalized, he doesn't want to do it anymore? Is that purely on effort, both mentally and physically, or is that the subject matter with which went into it? So, like we talked about this, you and I will have talked about this as it pertains to the book House of Leaves, right? Where people talk about how they've read that book and they go mad. And then I'm like, that is such a daunting thing to say. And then you're like, hey, spoiler alert, the reason people go mad is not because there's such a big twist and it's a psychological thing that breaks you. It's because the way that you have to read this book is so daunting that you're twisting and turning and reading it upside down and in a spiral, and it takes a physical toll.
And the obsession over that can create in the audience and the person. So it's for Tippett and for this film, it is both of those things. It is the insane amount of effort that it took, as well as the insane amount of effort that it took in regards to specifically the message that he was trying to portray in this film. the world of Mad God is a reflection of the way that Tippett and other people and philosophers, especially absurdists who reflect on like the myths of Sisyphus, it's a way that they view the world as this indifferent realm where everything that is created is destined to suffer.
Okay.
In futility.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the the insane amount of effort it took for him to deliver that message in this way. Like, Tippett is the assassin.
Uh-huh.
And the assassin is this being that at the beginning of the film we think is going to be this hero.
Right.
Right?
Right.
He's got a briefcase. He is descending into this world where there is just seems to be an unlimited amount of suffering being experienced by the creatures that are living in it, and each creature is suffering for the purpose of fueling the system in some way or another. And the assassin is traveling through this world with the knowledge that if he achieves his mission, he will bring an end to the suffering.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And finally, he makes it to the point where he gets to the bottom of the realm of suffering, and he sees the mountain of bomb briefcases.
That fucking got me this time, dude.
Yeah.
And he sets the bomb, and then he is captured by this weird monster, and he's hauled back to this other realm, and he is taken apart and dismantled, and a baby is pulled out of the assassin's cavity and like chest, and then that baby is distilled down into more fuel for the suffering. So what Phil Tippett, at some point, I think that's Phil Tippett wrestling with his own view of him as a hero, trying to create this for the sake of art, only to realize that it's also just contributing to this endless cycle of suffering that is creation.
That's just bleak.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
now
is.
imagine spending 30 years.
But I think you can feel the weight of that in the movie.
Yeah.
I just
I would
like
say
it
so.
blows my mind because like I think on how I live my life, I don't do anything I don't want to do except go to work.
Right.
Like if I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. And if I start doing something and I'm not enjoying it, I'm gonna stop. I'm not committing my life to it.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend 30 years. So that's part of it, trying to
Yeah.
imagine how the drive that Tippett had to feel to.
You know,
this.
I don't know. Here I am, and I 99% agree with you, Brad. And then also, though, there's a raw stubbornness of, if I make it to 25, why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woof.
But
That doesn't make me feel great.
No.
But it does make me feel like I'm getting a glance into something very intimate.
Oh, without
Without
a
a
doubt.
doubt.
There's so much vulnerability in this.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%.
It
Absolutely.
makes me feel a lot
And
of
I-
things.
And I think that's what makes it a masterpiece. Because, like, that's the idea of Sisyphean futility in human existence has been represented multiple times, numerous times throughout history in various ways, in humorous ways and non-humorous ways, but never so vulnerably.
Yeah.
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 And in trying to quote unquote figure it out, are we not perpetuating that futility of creativity and you know what I mean? Like, we're trying to figure it out, but to what end? Other than it's fun for us.
Right. And I would say that. So when I got right out of college, I was super into philosophy, and I was into like Albert Camus and absurdism, and I still kind of view the world through that lens when I try to intellectualize things that are happening. Right? And if you look at absurdism as a philosophy that came around in the early 20th century, and the idea is that human beings and human existence is ultimately futile, but the most futile thing of all is that human beings are destined to try to search for meaning in a universe that is meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there was this... So when philosophers were discussing that, there was this big debate. Well, somebody asked Camus, well, if everything is meaningless, why shouldn't everybody just kill themselves? Right?
Right.
And I think Camus' take on it, and I think is the ultimate take in this, is in a system that is indifferent to you, where your existence makes no impact, the ultimate act of rebellion is knowing that and continuing to exist anyways.
That's still heavy shit.
Right? Yeah.
Woof.
So, let me ask, what are some of you guys, or for you guys, what are some scenes that stand out and caught you immediately?
Yeah. I took notes on this.
The baby scene was one of the wildest.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. That's I think the thesis of this film, and I can talk about, because mine is real quick. What stuck with me this time?
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
And it just happens to be also, I think, the main takeaway from one of my favorite food travel shows ever created, Somebody Feed Phil.
Ooh.
Right?
Somebody.
This time, when I was watching this, what stuck out to me is the first few scenes after the diving bell opens and he is introduced into this realm of suffering. And what, time and time again, the assassin is a witness to this system and the creatures that are suffering inside of it. And one shot, it was, the monkey on the table that's being electrocuted?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
The monkey sees the assassin, sees the viewer, and he reaches out to him, and he's ignored by the assassin.
Right.
Right? And in the assassin's mind, he is thinking, well, I don't have time to help out these creatures that are suffering because I'm on a larger mission. I have to take this briefcase to the bottom of this underworld and blow up this entire system so that everybody stops suffering. Without realizing that he is a part of the futility of it.
Yeah.
And that he will have no impact. So to me, the one thing that really stuck out to me was a reminder that in this system, the only thing that we can do to really make sure we have some kind of an impact or a positive effect on the world is to care for other people.
Other people, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because as you say it, and I'm thinking about that, he had the opportunity to help, but his mission was more important, only to find out that his mission didn't matter.
And that he could have, but he still could have helped, yeah.
It's so fucking heavy.
At any point, if he had stopped to help out a creature that he saw suffering, he would have had a larger impact than the one he did ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my thing. I say, Somebody Feed Phil. Somebody Feed Phil is using Phil Rosenthal is using food as a way to connect with people.
And Phil Rosenthal just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you see Phil Rosenthal, who is this assassin making art, but actively using it to connect with people and impact people's lives, versus the assassin in this film, who is like taking a bomb there and ignoring people along the way because he thinks he has the answer to everything.
So there's based on what you said, it almost feels as if there's a level of warning against self-importance.
I think so, absolutely. And ego.
Okay.
Are you saying fuck Guy Fieri?
Dude, here's the thing. No, because Triple D has completely changed the lives of multiple people and restaurateurs, right?
Yeah. It gave Rob Schneider an extra paycheck. Yeah.
You're saying fuck Emerald.
Yeah,
fuck Emerald Lagasse. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He can bam these nuts.
Yeah. Guy Fieri is awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to give my takeaways, and I think that, I think the briefcase scene was definitely one of them that stood out. I think another one is after the surgery with the doctor, when they hand the baby to the cancer monster, and the just ball of cancer is, I've written in my notes cancer monster. I've written in my notes walking cancer. It then hands it to a shadowy figure.
Yeah, the alchemist.
So the alchemist, very creepy. I love that. I loved it. The specter, if you will.
Can I tell you what Amber called it?
Yes.
He goes to hand the baby off, and she goes, now he's just going to hand it off to a car wash setup?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I will say, Shug, before Will and Brad hopped on here, when we were just kind of talking about this film, one of the things that we talked about was that in the Slumber Party Massacre Luncheon, one of the things we talk about a lot is horror and comedy, and how even in some of the toughest movies, there's an element of comedy to help add, or even just straight up levity.
Yeah.
Not comedy, but just levity to help pull you out. And there was very little of that in this, if any. Saying all that, there was a moment that I did like. Right after the handoff to the car wash setup, the skeleton and monster fight club was something.
Sick.
It was like right after it, where it's just this masked skeleton beating the shit out of or masked monster beating the shit out of another thing, and then there's like this Michael Vick character that's just egging it on.
Yep.
That was something that spoke to me. Both as, I want to say, a form of levity, but also there was a rawness to it that stood out.
Yes.
That was very, vulnerable, and again, back to despair and suffering of just like, being enslaved and being nothing but a pawn to watch fight, was something. I have in three different, I had a running toll of my notes. I have put in three different areas. I'm getting lost in the scenery.
Yeah.
I thought that the explosion at the end with the glitter was gorgeous. I thought that was a great decision. I do want to talk about colors for a second.
Nice.
I loved, I think that obviously it's very dark. There's only, I think that the brightest scenes were the operation. And then I want to say that in that's one scene with a human. The other one is the one that's almost in the sort of like fascist, like, on a stage. That one is also kind of brightly lit, but in a very sterilized fluorescent lighting type way.
Yes.
But most of this is in darkness with a lot of reds, a lot of anger, a lot of despair, a lot of even the warmest colors are not meant to feel warm.
No.
They're meant to feel fiery,
You're right. Yeah, they're meant to portray aggression, if anything.
Right. So I thought that was interesting is that this is by no, like, I think all of us would agree this is an incredibly colorful film.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good color. You know what I mean?
No,
It's not. It's not. You're not. You're not in. You're not in whatever
Wizard of
world.
Oz?
Well, I was gonna. Yeah, that's a great one, Brad. I was gonna say Avatar, but you're right. It is so colorful, but it is not fun. Again, there's so much dampness. There's so much greasiness, griminess, wetness. The sounds, the sucking noises,
Yeah.
the squelching.
Yeah.
It is truly meant through and through to make you uncomfortable, and fucking it does it.
Dude, I don't know. I should have stopped and looked up who did the sound on this.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's unreal.
Mhm.
He'll just.
I saw.
Go ahead.
I read somewhere that he had, like, he obviously made the majority of this movie by himself, but he had used, for cheap labor, film students, like, throughout the entire 30 years of him doing this movie.
Nice.
He had used film students to come in and get, like, volunteer hours and just kind of, like, study under him, and they helped him work on this.
Damn.
And I'm curious as to if he did the same thing on sound editing and things like that as well.
I bet you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is cool. I didn't know that.
No, it would be crazy. It would be very interesting to know, like, he's been doing it for 30 years. What students studied under him that
Came out of
eventually,
this.
yeah,
That would be
came out of it. Like, is there a pedigree of people that worked on this film that?
Well, like, he's the kind of guy, like, if you're getting into that, you look at him as a living legend and probably the greatest at that craft that there is and ever was. So, I mean, like, they probably jumped on it and then they're like, oh, God, this guy's insane.
What if we found out that they were all murdered?
Oh, God. There's the curse of Mad Guy.
Yeah.
like the Crow.
Like the Exorcist as well?
Oh yeah.
They were all killed by doo-doo monsters.
Or,
I
or
think they call, in the film they shit people. I think is what they are.
Damn.
or the cancer monster.
There are a couple that look like talking turds.
Yes.
Yeah, there are.
It made me think of the Great Mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah, or the monster from Dogma.
Yes. Yeah. I also thought that the hair monsters earlier in it are interesting.
Yes.
The just wadded up felt hair.
I thought that was
You
cool.
see a lot of...
I thought we were going to find out that's what the assassin was.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You see a lot of the Jabba the Hutt, layer
Oh, yeah.
throughout this, like the vibes that he created with that, and you see a lot of that throughout this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy to stop and think that he also did Star Wars, and he did so many. Like, I think the first Jurassic Park, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
did.
think so.
He did. I mean, when you Google Phil Tippett, one of the first pictures that comes up is him designing the Rancor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, if you look at some of the monsters in this, actually, there were the fight scene that I talked about, the fight club that I talked about, there's some Star Wars scenes that are very reminiscent of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you go back and watch, like, Return of the Jedi and things like that, you're looking at it and you're like, wow, okay, that is his mind in one of the darkest spots of that trilogy.
Absolutely. Because I think the thing, as I'm saying it out loud, the thing that reminded me of, where those two monsters are fighting and beating the shit out of each other, is the 3D chess that they play on the Millennium Falcon, where the monsters are. Yeah, that's what it felt like. Is that, but it did not feel like that. You know what I mean? Like it is exactly what you just said, Brad.
Well, and it made me think of like the what is it, the pig or whatever that falls through the trap door on Return of the Jedi and is like running around scared knowing the Rancor is coming out to eat it.
Yeah. It feels like it's the same talent, but it's a different point in their life, which it was. It is.
Yeah.
Ooh. You know what I was just thinking about? This movie lacks, but I never felt like there was any, like, well, I take that back. It didn't feel like perilous. Except for, but then I remembered one of my favorite scenes, the part where he's driving the Jeep through the battle.
That one, yeah.
That is one of my favorite scenes. Like,
it's so cool.
I was
it is.
asked that question. I was like, man, when he's just driving the Jeep throughout that and just everything going on in the background, it was just such a cool shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that one shot where the Jeep is like, he's in this terrain that's like big and everything's like stone colored and gray and monolithic, and he's like driving down this narrow pathway, and there's a shot like catacornered to where he's at and kind of down, and it just makes the whole thing look like this is all taking place on a table in a fucking studio, but it looks like a 200-foot like cliffside road. It's one of the most impressive shots I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's, if nothing else, like, just because we're sitting here talking about the technical prowess.
Yeah.
Alone is like we're talking about, but I'm sure that if it weren't so hard to watch, there would be college courses dedicated to studying the film, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And honestly, there might be.
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there's something.
What were some of your standout moments, Brad, besides the battle?
The baby scene was horrific.
Yeah.
And depressing. Insanely depressing. The first 20 minutes of the movie was the biggest standout to me, because you're like, you don't know what you're getting into. And then you know immediately, and you think the tone's going to shift at times, and then it doesn't. It doubles down.
Yeah.
And I think that is what stood out to me, is like there was no progression or tonal change at all.
No.
Yeah.
And you look at like how much time's left, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's what this is going to be for the remainder of this movie.
Yeah, it offers no mercy. The Mad God offers no mercy.
Yeah, there's not a scene other than the baby scene that just like really jumps out at me. It is more so going into it blind and realizing this is going to be depressing from the jump.
From start to finish.
And it's just going to grind you down for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you forget about it, and then you watch it again in a year.
Yeah, can't wait.
I think I think it's going to be a fun episode in 2027, because I think that based on how we took it this time, we're obviously not going to say the same things over and over, or we might. I mean,
we'll see, right?
Knows? It's all futile. It's futile.
I think I'll have a lot more to say next year, because like I'll have gotten over the initial shock value and imagery and just being impressed with the creation of it, and I can focus.
Brad, as my second watch through, I'm going to tell you, no, you won't. No, I don't think so. I mean, okay. I think you're going to do better, as I was picking up on themes and at least a loose-ish changing scenery, if you will. But I think that it's still the scope. I mean, Shug, you've seen it 4 times. Will, you 3.5, 4, whatever you want to call it. Have either of you yet to lose the majesty of the scale?
No.
No.
Okay.
And I think, like I said before we started recording, like every time I watch it, I come away. It's like the last half of the film is like a fever dream to me almost.
Okay.
So I've seen it multiple times, but I always forget like most of what occurs after the mountain of briefcases, and then it's like watching it fresh again. Kind of, it's strange.
I think on this watch, seeing it for the 4th time, because the first time I saw it, I was like, what in the fuck? And I think I immediately ran it back.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd time was maybe a year after that. But going into it this time, I was still very, very impressed with the scale and the art, or the artistry. But on this watch, I was able to notice more of the plot, what plot there is. Like, I feel like I came away from it this time going, oh, okay, I see the cycle, I see the movie's ebbs and flows, and I think I got the message on this watch.
I agree. I think so. Like the more you watch it, the more you will be able to intellectualize aspects of it.
Yes.
But then there will always, at least so far, there will always be things you come away from it with saying, what the hell was that about?
Yeah. I think next year I'm going to watch the movie and paint while I do it.
There is a guy on like TikTok and social media that does like really depressing artworks that kind of honestly remind me of him. And he like narrates in this just like depressing tone the whole time he draws it. Dude,
Yeah.
It's so cool. But like now that you say that, like it just made me think of like, I wonder if that guy has watched Mad God and he's like, yes, someone.
Yeah, the one person that can feel affirmed.
Yeah, somebody shares my melancholy.
Yes. Finally, someone else that's going to play with puppets until they go fucking crazy.
Right. Like you can watch it and you can go into it even with the intent to try to analyze it and break it down and not get distracted by but it's just such an uncompromising execution of an artistic vision by one of the industry's greatest technicians and artists to do this medium that you can't help but get distracted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if he wanted us to be depressed, why did he wrap it in such a good fucking movie? Or good visual, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. Let me see. So, would you recommend Mad God to somebody that you love and care about?
I intend on it, actually. Yep. I intend on it because I don't want to be alone, just like you, Will.
Who are you bringing in and why?
Well, I love my wife dearly, so I'm not her. I'm not getting a divorce. I think there are some people at work
Nice.
that think they like horror, and
I
think I want to be like, oh, you think you're artsy, girl? Have I got something for you?
Yeah, it is.
right. Watch this and see how much you like horror. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Show this to my wife because she hasn't even forgiven me for Prometheus, and that's mild.
Oh wow.
very much so.
Yeah.
I think wildly. I work with a bunch of people who were much younger than me. I work for a company that's mainly Gen Z, and I don't know that they actually even know who Phil Tippett was. Side story: I was at a Um, I was at a corporate event this past week in Dallas, and we went to a honky tonk afterwards. And I said, "Hey, there's Touch Tunes. I'm about to put $2 on, and we're about to get fancy."
Nice.
And someone's like, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm putting fancy on." And one girl goes, "Iggy Azalea," and I said, "I gotta go."
Oh no!
No, girl. No. We're talking Reba. And then she went, "Reba didn't sing fancy," and I went, "I've got to get out of here. It's been a real good time."
See, dude, and my brain has completely blocked out whatever Iggy Azalea was.
Honestly, still a good song. It bops, but it's not fancy by Reba McEntire. So with that said, I know for a fact the people I work with don't know. Based on that one interaction, they don't know who Phil Tippett is.
No.
They're going to be like, "What is the Rancor? What is Star Wars?" Oh, you mean the one with Caden Christensen in it? I can't wait to melt some brains with that one. But yeah, I intend on recommending it more out of torture than anything. But it's going to happen.
Absolutely, more like a sick prank.
So if your question, Rob, was, is there anyone that I love and care about that I intend on doing this earnestly? No, the answer is no.
That's a good answer.
Brad?
I have some friends that I think would appreciate it. I do. I have a buddy. Y'all know. Well, y'all might remember Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Will and Shug, but his brother would, and I bet his brother has watched this movie multiple. He probably goes to sleep to this movie.
I don't want to be around that person.
He's a great guy.
Oh,
He just loves dark movies, and I think I'm gonna have to text him later and just be like, "Hey, have you seen Mad God?" And I guarantee he's gonna be like, "Dude, it's incredible."
That'll be fun.
Actually, with that said, Rob, there is someone that y'all have recommended it to that was excited and did watch it, and that's Jake in our D&D group.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh my god, are y'all talking about Phil Tippett's Mad God?" I've heard, like, I love Phil Tippett. I've been excited to watch that.
That's awesome.
And I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did take the recommendation seriously.
Good.
What would Emilio think?
I don't think that this is up his alley. If I'm being honest,
I
with
don't
you.
think so
No,
at all.
I think-
No.
It's not basic trash.
But I think
Yeah, this isn't Cats. This isn't a musical.
yeah, no shit. I think that's who we pull in next year though.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
love to incorporate his point of view in this.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of, like, I can think of people it would be hilarious to try to convince to watch it, but
Right.
like the one person in my family who I know for sure would appreciate it is on this podcast right now.
That's true.
Yeah. So is that the spin moving forward? Is every year since we've already gone through it? We obviously talk about how it affected us that year and the things we experienced, but also we pull in somebody new to torment that person and see their reactions.
I think so.
I think so, and I
think so.
I think we all pick a person to recommend it to because nobody ever watches what is recommended to them,
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
and just whoever bites, we get.
That
Um,
works. I like this podcast a lot because so far watching Mad God has been a very isolated and introspective experience for me, and I like being able to share it with other people.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I watched it last night after Laura went to bed. I was totally by myself, and I was in the dark, like pitch black. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that again. I won't do that a second time. But like, it wasn't like, this is not the kind of movie that's scary. Not in the sense of like that there is a monster. It's more like scary of when you realize what it means and how it affects you. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
I appreciate that y'all got me onto it. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not enjoyable in the sense of like, hey, this movie makes me happy or excites me in any way. But as like a fan of movies and art, like, it's awesome.
Yeah. So
I totally agree.
Yeah.
It is an awesome movie, but like awesome in the purest sense of that word. You know what I mean?
yes, yes.
Yeah, like awe-inspiring, awesome. Yeah.
Awe-inspiring. Yes.
Let me ask you guys this: because I kind of look at this podcast at this point, knowing that we're going to watch this movie every year, whether we want to or not. I look at it as a ritual. So if we're looking at it as a ritual, what are we actually honoring?
It's a good question.
Right?
What is the appeal? Robert, what would you say has brought you back to it multiple times?
Just pure artisanship.
Right?
Just honor. You know what? I think we're honoring art. I think we're honoring endurance.
I think that this podcast, given the subject matter of the film that we're watching, and how we have turned it into a shared experience, and honestly, our own kind of exercise in futility.
Yeah.
I think maybe what we're honoring is the idea of community and shared experience to help weather the storm of survival in an indifferent universe that is ultimately futile.
I love that. I think that what I was thinking was super close to what you just said, Will, which was, I think my big takeaway was kind of what you said with the scene with the monkey, where he has every opportunity to help, and in anyone, but especially there, has every opportunity to help and neglects to do so. And I think that for me, my ritual is that we, with the most amount of sincerity and appreciation, find the humor. And that humor is in shared experience. That humor is, but we've laughed this whole time. This was not an exercise in us wanting to maximize our dosage in mental health medicines.
Right.
You know, that we've been able to laugh and kind of see the humor in our own lives and the futility in our lives. And so I think that for me, that is my ritual, is that in a movie that is designed to make you think heavy thoughts and potentially make you go mad, that every year we'll kind of relish and laugh in that madness together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it can be said better than that.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Petrus.
Thank you. I read that on the back of a Laffy Taffy. So.
And then I thought it would be fun, since we're going to do this every year, do we want to make some wild yearly predictions to revisit next year?
I wholeheartedly think that that's a good idea.
All right. Do we want to do predictions as it pertains to us, or just the world, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a prediction on my own watch through.
Nice.
I think that now, knowing that it clicked to me that the person who, quote, had the baby was not a baby, but that it was the soul or darkness or something of the assassin. I think next year I'm gonna watch this thing and still think it's a fucking pregnancy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it a year from now and be like, hey, y'all remember when the baby's born? Y'all are gonna be like, dude, we've covered this.
It's just always going to be the baby.
Yeah. That's my prediction, is because you can guarantee, fellas, if there's one guarantee I can make you, I will not watch it until we do this pod next year.
Right.
So in a year, I will have forgotten some or most of this. So I think on my next go through, I think I'm going to forget that crucial detail. But it is, I'm so torn between, do I want to try to go against what we've established here, that I shouldn't be looking for a narrative and build my own, which is kind of his quote, right? Like, build art and let people make their own out of it,
Yeah.
own meaning. So do I do that? Or do I want to truly go the full Fantasia route where there is no meaning? I want to lean purely into one or the other next year.
I predict that next year, Emilio Casano is going to absolutely blow us out of the water with his take on this movie.
Wholeheartedly agree. Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I have two more takeaways, I think.
All right.
Two more predictions, two predictions.
Okay.
I think one of which is that a year from now, a lot of people are going to feel darker or more futile than they ever have.
Ooh, yeah.
And I think that this will be an excellent exercise in battling that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for your pure number standpoint. I think we quadruple our numbers.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope more, but I'm going to say we quadruple our numbers. I want this kind of like the podcast Baraska, which if I haven't, that's a horror podcast that I adore. I don't even know if I plugged it on our other podcast, but I plug it all the time with people, and it's such a hidden gem that people don't know about. They're like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And then they get into it, and the twist happens when you watch it. When you listen to it and you get to the twist, I've only known one human being that saw it coming. One. And I think this is that for me, in that I want to get out there and put this out there to the masses, kind of like you will.
Yeah. And I think going on that somewhat, I think I'm going to predict that over the course of the next year, there will be a significant amount of people in the world who understand the value of community and who have begun to try to seek it out and create their own.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I mean, I predict that by this time next year, I'll have seen it twice.
There you go.
I certainly hope you hit that prediction, Brad.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm at with it. No, I mean, I predict that I'll gain maybe a 10% more insight into this film with each rewatch, because I feel like there is so much to pick apart.
Yeah, I'll also predict that I'll have a wildly different take on it next year.
I think I will too.
Oh yeah, I definitely. Yep.
I can't wait for our take in like 2030.
We're going to be living it in 2030.
Yeah. No
Hey, they
shit.
might have a cure for my baldness by then.
Nice.
There you go. Well, I was thinking, like, if we could end with, we've made some predictions. If we could end with maybe, like, a one-sentence takeaway to carry it on into the next year
Okay.
from the film.
A one sentence takeaway going into the next year.
I'm going to go with I think that the monkey scene, for me, the breakdown on this podcast was it for me. In that we live in some really difficult times right now, and I don't necessarily foresee that changing for a little bit at least. I mean, and, just there's turmoil and, it's, money is tight for everybody. And I think that if you pull the futility out of this, I think that going back to that we're all in it together, and that you can do more good by helping others than you can by carrying on your divine mission. That's big for me.
That's similar to kind of what I was thinking. I mean, I was thinking of, you got this awful, decaying world that we live in, and just don't be a piece of crap to
Yep.
people.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a cancer monster.
Can I do a quote from Kurt Vonnegut instead?
Oh, yeah,
Whatever
you
you
can.
want to do.
You can take a flying fuck at a rolling donut, or you can take a flying fuck at the moon.
Yeah.
Man,
That's-
Kurt Vonnegut.
That relates to mine a little bit, understanding the futility.
Yep.
Vonnegut was an absurdist. The futility and the suffering. I think mine is like, if you know you're gonna suffer, then suffer loudly enough for your mad God to hear you.